How about you guys on the live chat? Can y'all hear us okay? Everybody good?
Good.
What's up, Roseanne? Can you hear? Man, image clear.
Perfect.
This is like the first time it's ever worked right. So we're here with Jeff. Jeff is a really cool guy, and I forgot to record our interview. So I was like, dude, can you just come back?
The fact that we got this together actually then is a miracle.
Yeah.
Pretty quick turnaround there. Yeah, impressive.
Yeah.
Got it.
And this is Jeff. This is my wife, Nicole.
Hello.
She's also from Boston. Jeff is from Boston.
No way. Whereabouts?
I'm in Southie. You know where that may be.
I definitely do. So I grew up in Randolph. I went to school in Milton.
Okay.
I went to Fontbonne, so I know your neck of the woods pretty well.
Excellent.
Mom
Yeah.
still lives in Duxbury, so
Oh, there you go.
yep. But I've been down here now for 11 years, almost 12. I want to say.
What brought you to South Carolina?
I went to school in Maryland, in Baltimore. I went to Loyola, and I knew I did not want to stay in Baltimore. And two,
Okay.
I did not really want to move back up north. I thought, I kind of always wanted to move down south. Let me just
Yeah,
try
yeah.
it out. So I moved a week after I graduated, had never been here before. I knew I wanted to be near the beach, near a city with things to do. And so I just picked Charleston. So
There you
literally
go.
11 years later, no
Don't have to
regrets.
deal with winters anymore, so that's nice. Although
It's pretty nice.
yeah, we don't really get winters up here anymore either. But
This whole like global warming thing,
yeah, it's wild. No, we haven't gotten snow in 2 years here.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. So
Yeah.
Dang.
Jeff says he's got some friends in Charleston.
Well, you have another place to come and visit when you come down here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Roseanne is. I think she's on. She's in the YouTube chat there. She's in your area.
Hey, Roseanne.
Oh, whereabouts, Roseanne? We actually, so we're from Mount Pleasant, which is the outskirts of Charleston, but we just moved because it's too much traffic there. Where are you from? Oh,
Hi.
it's not like instant response.
Yeah, there's like a couple seconds delay on the chat when you notice that, but this is awesome.
So I talked to Jeff earlier. He's got an incredible story, and so Jeff, how this works is she doesn't know the story we're doing ever,
Oh.
so she has no
I have
idea.
no idea what we're about to talk about.
She has no idea who you are, why you're here, or
well,
whatever.
I mean, I know who you are now. Thanks for the introduction. Oh,
you.
Roseanne, you're in Charlotte. There you go. My
mom
stepbrother lives there.
My mom lives in Mount P. I used to live in Huntersville, in
There you
Charlotte.
go.
So
Connections all over the place. Love
yeah,
it.
love it. So here's what's going on. And at first, I'm going to be honest, I thought it was a bunch of BS until I started really digging into the research. But there is, from what some people would say, a serial killer running around Austin, Texas.
Keep Austin weird, you know?
Yeah, keep Austin. Yeah, specifically a one part of Texas, which is, I think, is Rainy Street and
Let me see. Street, Sixth Street.
Sixth Street.
Okay.
Here's where you go out typically. Yeah, popular.
And
So what is your connection, Jeff, with Austin? How did you
that's
Is
the
that should I
yeah.
not ask this
Well, hold
yet?
on, hold
Am
on.
I early?
I'm just
Sorry.
going to let you know.
Okay.
So, over the last couple years, there have been numerous, I think it was 20 in 2023, 20 male bodies found submerged in Lady Bird Lake, which is the lake right there. It's a small lake. It is man-made. I kind of looked up the history. It used to cool like this power plant type of thing.
Oh, okay.
But in 2023, I think this is right, there were 20 bodies pulled out. All male, no robberies or whatever. And they all were accidental drownings or suicides. They're all Jeff's ages, our age type of and all went from the bar somewhere and ended up separated from their group and now into the water.
So, I mean, how far away is this body of water from said like bars where people are just like are stumbling in drunk
Very
potentially?
close. It's right near downtown. You could easily stumble to it. And then there's also some little rivers and creeks that lead to it from the area. So you could potentially float your way down there. A lot of the bodies aren't found for a number of days after they disappear. So it's hard to kind of identify where they came from necessarily.
Is it so when you said float down, like floating down, is it a body of water where people are going like tubing and that's like they're taking their coolers type thing, or
no, it's actually, I don't think you can swim in Lady Bird for some reason. I don't know if it's a safety precaution or whatnot, but you can bring in smaller type boats, but no like speed boats and no swimming. So yeah, it wouldn't be something that you would choose to. It wouldn't be a body of water you would choose to get into.
Okay, so this is not like a party pond and everyone's going down the river with their coolers.
So who is this guy? How's he connected with all this?
I don't know. That's why are you about to tell me?
His story is, number one, it's traumatic, but it's also really important because there is something going on, 100%. And Jeff happens to be a survivor. One survivor, and there's not many. There are a few survivors, but Jeff is one. And you can take it away, man.
Yeah. So
sorry you had to tell the story twice today.
I'll go through it again. I got a rehearsal run earlier, but so I was going down to Austin with a group of friends for a bachelor party. There was probably 12 or 15 guys from around the U.S., but a lot of people from Boston. That's where the groom is from. And we flew down there on a Thursday. The group from Boston, about 6 or 7 of us on the same plane. Got there midday, got to our Airbnb. We were hanging out at the pool. Things were normal. We were having some drinks, but nothing too wild. I certainly remember everything.
So I've only been to Austin once, so I ask a lot of questions. So just if I'm interrupting you too much, let me know. So I've only been to Austin one time before. My sister was living in Corpus Christi, Texas. So it's like, I think 2 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very like a walkable city, right? A lot of people are just able to walk from one place to another type thing.
Yeah, the downtown is very built up and like a kind of a standard, city, major city. But we were staying outside the city a bit at an Airbnb that was, had a big, because there's a lot of us, so big area, a lot of rooms, space, pool, things like that for the week.
Gotcha.
For the week.
Okay.
So we were waiting around until everybody arrived, and then we decided to go to dinner. I have the names of where we went just because I don't remember them all, but we went to a place called Iron Cactus for dinner, and that's where my memory really starts to pretty much go to zero. But we, we're behaving as you normally would, having drinks throughout dinner and after dinner, but nothing too crazy. And we then went to a bar called the Rustic Tap, and then to a bar called Play, which is right on West 6th Street, where a lot of these disappearances occur.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the last time I saw my group was around 1:00 in the morning. Supposedly we were talking to some people we had made some new friends, chatting as the night goes. I was pretty much coherent, but all of a sudden they realized that I wasn't there any longer, and that they'd seen me with a few people recently, but they were people that we didn't know. And then they couldn't find me, so they called me, and I was speaking like basically incoherently on the phone. I couldn't tell them where I was or what I was doing. And then I stopped responding. They called a number of times more after that, and then my phone went dead.
Oh my God. So you don't remember. So like it starts to get hazy while you're, a little after dinner, like normal drinks is what you recall. Like you don't recall it's not like you were drinking straight tequila from the bottle. Maybe you were, but like you don't think you did anything outrageous until then.
Right. At a reasonable level that we would do any other night.
And this was last year, about 9 months ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so this is 2023.
This is really recent.
Yeah, when I told you all those bodies were popping up. I mean, they've been popping up, but now it's an epidemic.
Yeah, if you look back, there's a lot of people who disappeared over last summer. It was a high disappearance rate.
Like just in the last year. It's not like this is over a 20-year period necessarily.
It's been happening. So if you do some research, it has been happening periodically, but it seems like the numbers are ramping up. And there's been a lot of stories of people being not necessarily, getting killed, but they end up very drunk or roofied or potentially roofied, and there's a lot of people that end up saying that they had to be dragged home and they got way drunker than they ever do, and something happened that was abnormal. There's a lot of those stories coming out of Austin. So
wow. So
yeah.
So you remember being at a location, you don't remember getting separated from your group of friends.
No.
And you don't even remember making these calls.
No, at that point I don't have any real recollection. It's just from what my friends told me later on.
Damn.
Yeah, so basically they at that point decided I'd either gotten arrested or went home with someone. I mean, they didn't think that they didn't really think
like
that. Last time I was under control.
Because you kind of don't really think. I mean, we've been doing this podcast for 5 years.
5 years?
6?
Going on 7.
Oh my God, damn.
Jesus Christ.
7 years. Okay, so we've been doing this podcast for 7 years.
If I said that shit about our anniversary, it'd be, oh shit.
Yeah, this would be a very different story. Okay, so 7 years later, we talk a lot about how obviously women have to think of very different things when they are like out with their friends or in a public place, and what type of safety measures they have to do. And
right.
John's always like, I mean, I never think about it at all.
I mean, yeah, it's nothing that I've ever experienced. I've never been roofied before or ended up in a scenario where I was, don't remember anything, was separated from my group and something wild happened. So yeah, it's obviously something you are putting yourself at a little bit of risk if you go out drinking, just because you never know what's going to happen or who you're going to meet. But it isn't really something I'd ever been too concerned with. It's, being a man, also, you're probably less concerned with it, even though you shouldn't be.
Look at this comment from Megan, your friend Megan. What was it her last name? Moskin. My eyesight's terrible. I'm one of Jeff's good friends. He can handle his drinks, and he's not a small guy. 6'3". You're 6'3"? Jesus. So, I mean...
And we had a few other guys in the group also not disappear, but get way more seemingly intoxicated than they typically would and have to go home early.
Interesting.
Yeah, kind of stumbling their way home. So it could have been. So anyway, long story short, I'll keep on with it. I'm not to the end of my story yet.
No, I'm intrigued.
His story gets harrowing real quick.
Probably.
So, okay, so that's also really interesting that you weren't the only person that was like out of the norm.
Right.
And I had one instance when I was in college where I suspect that I may have been drugged because I mean, hey, like could I have been that blackout? Possibly, but I also really don't remember, drinking that much.
Right.
So you know yourself, like your tolerance level, and even in a big bachelor party situation, like something's not right.
Yeah, and there's a huge group of guys who are all obviously watching each other's backs. So for me to just kind of disappear it's abnormal. You wouldn't think that.
Yeah, just straight up disappear in a random city.
And that goes along with kind of a lot of the stories from the other guys who have been found, unfortunately not alive. They also just kind of were there and then they were gone.
That's so weird. It's like, I mean, especially being in such a big group, like how would someone just, get someone, especially someone 6'3", to just kind of leave the group, I mean, honestly, it seems like it's coordinated. It wasn't one person that did this. This was a coordinated effort.
I would think that it looks more like a kind of some sort of group of people who identify someone, isolate them from the group, probably try to rob them once they're incoherent, and send them on their way. Seems more kind of like that than it is a specific serial killer. It's more there's more of a criminal, function going on of some sort.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I could see the popularity of the location too, right? And it's kind of similar here in Charleston. It's a huge spring break area or bachelorette area, for that sort of thing.
Same as that area in Austin. I mean, yeah, so they could be targeting people that are already, a little easier to fool, are open to distraction.
Vulnerable, right? Distracted, drinking, all the things.
Right.
Not from around there.
Right.
Yep. Okay, so your phone goes dead after so your friends are trying to call you, and you are answering the phone, so you have it at some point, but did you lose your phone or did your phone die or what happened there?
I think it just died. We had been, we'd been hanging out all day, so I assume my phone just died at some point. So anyway, my friends assume I'm okay. They figure out they'll see me in the morning, but they go back. Don't hear of anything in the morning. I'm not there, so they start calling police stations and hospitals, and end up locating me at a local hospital that's pretty close to Rainy Street where we were drinking. So they come to find me. One of them actually said that he was my cousin, so that they could, because they only let family members come in, and they got in. So what they found was my side of the story, where I had basically only made it about 2 blocks from the bar that we were at, and somehow ended up at the bottom of a ravine. Had fallen about 25 feet off a bridge, landed next to a river that leads down to Lady Bird Lake.
Holy shit!
Yes, it's a very wide. The bridge is the side of the bridge is about 3 or 4 feet wide. It's an old stone bridge, so it would have been very difficult for me to. I almost would have had to throw myself off of the bridge intentionally. It's very hard to believe that I somehow fell off of it myself.
And it would have required you climbing over something.
Right. It would have had to put in effort to get off of that bridge on my own.
Hey, Jeff, I'm going to show him the picture you sent me. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it. So,
all right, it's going to be on the YouTube. You probably won't see it on the Zoom, but okay. Let me see if I can pull it up here. So this is what you sent me. This is what falling off a bridge does.
Oh my word!
I mean, you literally have contractor screws in there. Literally. I mean, it's terrible, man. This is your back, obviously. Can you tell us a little bit?
Oh my god!
Yeah, so I fractured 7 vertebrae, and they had to be connected with screws and rods to stabilize my back. That was surgery that took place 2 days after the fall. When they found me, I was also hemorrhaging internally. I had punctured a lung, and my spleen was bleeding out, so they had to do emergency surgery on my stomach and remove my spleen and sewed up some things in there and stopped the bleeding. So
holy shit!
This is some more of his back.
What a I mean, that is some serious surgery right there, dude.
Yep.
Damn. Yeah. How are you doing now? I know I want to get back to the story, but how is your back and your recovery? That's massive.
I know, very lucky that I was able to make a very quick recovery, and I actually was in the hospital. I mean, I was in an induced coma for about a week, and then had some other complications. I ended up being able to get out about 2.5 weeks later. I got pneumonia. It was a whole ordeal, but
Jesus
oh
Christ,
my god, dude. Damn, you are seriously lucky to be alive.
I know. I was telling John, I never really contemplated my own mortality at all before this, but it really hits you hard when you realize how close I was to.
How high was the fall?
It was about 24, 25 feet. So, and I also broke my scapula, which is your shoulder bone.
And it is a miracle, Roseanne. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I mean, if you would have felt any different, we wouldn't be talking to you. We have
my cousin, who actually he lived up in Massachusetts. He was living in Newton. He fell. There was a balcony on a second floor. It wasn't a real balcony. It was kind of not meant to be used the way that the rental property was using it for. And he leaned back, the railing broke, and it was just fell the wrong way and he died instantly. Like, you just never know how that is going to land. And holy shit, like, that is incredible. I'm so glad that you're okay now, but
No, I mean, I don't usually use the saying blessed, but I definitely feel like I was at that time. It's a miracle that I landed the way that I was, and the doctors were able to, perform. And that's another strange thing about the story.
and that you're like, you've got mobility and movement, and
Yeah. And I
wow.
was found at about 4:30 in the morning. There was an anonymous call that they saw someone at the bottom of a bridge, and that's how they found me, which I'm so happy that someone did, but also
Wow.
a strange twist to the story, right? Like, who's finding someone at the bottom of a bridge
At 4:30 in
at
the
4 in the
morning.
morning? It's a little, yeah. So the whole story is interesting, but very, very happy that I'm here, obviously, and I've started working out again recently. I've been able to start running, and those rods are actually going to get removed in June. Shockingly,
Wow.
they don't stay in you for your life. So yeah.
So
Well, that's
he
great.
did have tests done, like toxicology. Do you want to talk about that? I have your report here. I can bring it up too.
Yeah, I sent you over what I found. So they did a tox report, and I didn't have any drugs in my system except for a benzo, which is basically rufalin is in the
It's like GHB,
benzodiazepine family.
GHB.
Holy shit. So they did find
So
something
I
in you.
was drugged.
He was drugged.
Holy shit.
He was definitely
All right,
drugged.
you know for a fact you didn't have
Um,
one too many or mixed
right.
drinks.
So yeah, so officially somebody did something to me.
Andalyn asked a good question. Maybe you can answer, Jeff. Were you robbed as well?
No, and that's an interesting twist to the story. There was nothing taken from my person. So that is odd. The only thing that you could theorize that if they were throwing me off this bridge because they thought I was overdosing or they thought something was wrong with the situation, at that point you don't necessarily want to rob the person because that makes it a criminal investigation if they find me dead and robbed.
There you have all the accidental drownings.
Shit.
All of the guys found in the lake, they all had their wallets on them.
Right.
Therefore, accidental is not robbery. So if the guy's doing this, let's say it's to rob someone, if, Jeff luckily survived, but if he didn't, they would leave his money. So the cops wouldn't open a criminal investigation. Jeff actually alerted me to that. That's very smart thinking. I mean, you think about this all the time.
But it does make sense. Yeah. And I like I said, I landed, I would say 5 feet from a river that I would have obviously drowned if I was in that condition and floated down to Lady Bird. So
which
like
is their spot, right? Like
the spot. Yeah.
It almost sounds like that's how that might be the pattern of that exact location if it will feed right into Lady Bird,
the bridge. Because a lot of guys aren't found for a week later. I've been seeing.
Right. So
drowned and dead, and a lot of the deaths, the medical examiner says that they're drowning because the water in their lungs and so they're basically drowned.
Right. I would have probably died from drowning. That would have probably been the cause because I would have been
right.
And then they would have said it was a suicide because that's what the APD's doing. They're saying all of these cases are a suicide.
Wow.
Jeff, I want to show you something right quick. This isn't Austin Lady Bird Lake. This is in Chicago. I was telling you about this. Check this out. This is in 2022. These are how many people have died just in this one area in 2022, and they're all men except one, it looks like, but every one of them are men, just like in the Lady Bird case.
Were they all around,
the lake
our
area,
age, all around? Were they all people?
Yeah, just normal people at the bars,
Yeah,
normal people at the bars.
Like they were all kind of out and about. And that's how they were.
Yeah. So here's this is speculation, but this is kind of what we're thinking, or at least I'm thinking. It is maybe an organization like a cartel doing something like this, but they have they they pray. There's different spotters. Like, let's say they'll have someone in the bar looking for a guy. It's always a guy that may have some money, that they could steal. Someone drugs them somehow. It may be the bartender doing it. It may be something else. I've seen in one report that people are vaping. If you accept a random vape from somebody, some of those are rigged with the GHB and stuff like that.
Oh,
They separate
I
you.
would not have ever thought of that.
They separate you, and then someone on the outside takes over where there's no cameras. Still to this day, there's no cameras.
Yeah, that's what Jeff's sister just commented. He was found in an area that had no cameras. All down West 6, there are cameras except where he was.
I mean, cameras are not expensive these days.
No.
You would think the Austin PD would put up cameras.
Why would you leave a blackout area?
Here's one
especially with the number of bodies that are being found.
And like I said, it's not even 2 blocks from where the last bar that we were at. It's not like I went far.
Yeah. Sometimes this does happen, like the chief of police, like they don't want 20 murder raps on their docket, right? No one's going to come to Austin and party anymore.
Yeah.
And go and visit the town. But at the same time,
it's easily solvable. Even if they didn't want to come out and say that there's a gang, killers, whatever, putting up the cameras in that location would solve a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they may, I just saw a comment there that the culprit would have to know that there's a lack of cameras there, but they could easily know that, right? It might be specifically why they take people there.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not like they're, cameras are, you can spot them anywhere unless it's a mannequin.
Yeah.
Do you think it was, because I mean, you're a big dude, and you have your drink. I mean, I'm the same way. I kind of keep it with me. You're probably holding it in your hand the whole time.
Typically hold on to it, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, how would someone get it in there? I mean, we know they did. You got the Tox report to, say it, but
right.
That makes me kind of think it might be a bartender.
I read that too, and I hadn't thought about that, but I guess, that could be. There's something I guess Austin is unique in that you can be a bartender. Basically, you get a license to bartend at multiple bars. So if there's an opening at one bar one night, you can move to that.
Oh, that's screwed up.
Yeah, so a lot of bartenders, they might not actually know the people that well. They're just there for the night to fill in or whatnot. So could be that, and maybe we were sitting or standing at a table and I set it down or went to the bathroom. And, I won't, like I said earlier, I won't say that I'm super careful with my drink. I do typically hold it, but I'm not really on the lookout for somebody trying to roofie me. I should be. I mean, I guess I should be now.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that they got you away from your whole party, which if you were just with one person, it may be harder to pull someone away. But you said you were with, 16 people?
Yeah, 12 or 15.
12 or 15?
A lot of guys.
Jesus, man.
I think that almost might be easier though, right? Because if you're with a single person or 2 people, that you have an intimate conversation.
Yeah.
If you're a huge group, everybody's mingling and talking to the group and that group and splitting
off. It's easy to
off.
lose track of one.
Or
to assume one's with somebody else, right? Like, oh, he must be over there with my other buddy.
Oh yeah, Jeff must be with Brad. Yeah, everything's fine.
Right.
So what's your life like now? Because this is, I mean, I told him earlier, it's an honor speaking to you because you survived this horrific ordeal, and also a lot of guys, they're probably more survivors, a lot more, but they're scared to come out, and it's very brave of what you're doing right now.
Or to even think too of like what could have actually happened,
No shit.
Maybe
not
everybody
dude.
got a toxicology report to prove some
exactly.
of this stuff,
Yeah, that's a lot of people don't get tested, right? So you never even know.
Damn.
But I really appreciate that. Obviously it's been a while. It happened 9 months ago, and I really initially didn't want to talk about it or think about it. A lot of my friends were like, "Let's go down there and figure out who did this to you. Let's start an investigation. The police. We don't need the police."
That would be me.
And so many people were reacting that way, which I appreciate it. I know that's the way they're showing their love. But at that time, I was so overwhelmed. I just didn't even want to.
Yeah.
think about it. But really, what got me going again was early last month in February, they found another guy in the same place in the same
Wow.
scenario, and I just said, you know what, if there's anything I can do to help, I don't. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't remember much, but so I can't identify anyone, but I can at least tell my story of where I was and how it went down and the timing of things, and maybe they can correlate some things together to try to connect dots and figure out if there's something they can do to stop this from happening to someone else.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the guys, Jason John, 30-year-old, this was February 5th, 2023, wee hours in the morning. Now he's deceased, but the last time he was seen, it was by a Good Samaritan, and he was at the lake vomiting violently. So it's did you feel any do you know if you vomited or anything or had intense sweating? Because this guy was most likely drugged, and then he was found obviously in the lake a week later. The medical
Jesus.
examiner says it was classified as accidental, but we know. I
I'm
mean,
not sure. I may have. I don't know if there was any vomit on me at the time. I'm not sure. I
Hmm.
almost think there was, but I'd have to go back and ask my sister, who's a nurse, who came down and was kind of my savior for the whole period while I was there.
yeah. Oh, so
Uh,
you stayed in Austin for your whole medical treatments?
yeah, I was there for 2.5 weeks,
Oh, God, the
and
worst place,
which I
last
just
place I want to be.
dude, it
You
was
know.
hell. I mean, all I wanted to do was go home. Ask my sister. I was every day. I was like, I think we're good now, right? Can we just get an Uber? I want to go out of here.
Oh my
I
God,
don't blame you for
Terrible.
that.
Jesus.
Well,
Locked
Megan
me in bed.
had said a couple of comments too, like it's happening. Something similar seems to be happening in New York City. And she also had shared there is that Austin notoriously has an under-resourced police department.
Oh,
So that might be another
Heard that
reason
as
why they're
well.
not looking to call attention
mm-hmm.
to this problem, right?
I mean, what can we do? I mean, you know what I was thinking earlier. This is what they should require in Austin. They should put up if their bar, the decedent was the last seen at their bar. They should put photos of the people, and it's like this guy was last seen here. To just to warn
Information.
people.
Well,
Right.
of course they're not going to do that,
I know they're
though.
not going to do that, but it's still like,
I think there should be some responsibility if
oh yeah,
last seen at your establishment, you either overserved them
yeah.
or somebody did something illegal to them at your establishment. So
Mm.
And in most cases, it's probably, I'm telling you, I think a lot of guys wake up just completely like, what happened? And then they have no money. Their bank accounts are withdrawn. So in most cases, it seems like it goes smoothly, so to
right,
speak.
right.
But it's
The
only
operating
these,
report. Yeah.
yes, it's only these cases where whoever was doing this, I'm just speculating, but they're like, oh, Jeff, this guy he's convulsing. Let's just throw him off this bridge.
So your theory
Dude,
on this is it's not necessarily someone looking to drug someone, throw them off the bridge.
it's not a serial killer.
Right,
because
right.
there's
That just
right.
might be an unfortunate outcome occasionally when their plan goes south.
Yeah.
They have a plan B.
Again, I'm truly sorry this happened to you, but also,
Like,
geez.
so
Well, thank
glad
you.
you're
I
okay.
feel very lucky to be alive, and I'm trying to live life to my fullest now because I kind of almost feel like I got a second chance. So
Jesus.
Heck
glad
yeah.
to be around. I got some cool scars to show the ladies now.
You could get your scars, make a cool tattoo out of your scars. I know somebody that had brain
Thought about
surgery
that. I
and
actually
had
did
done something with
Yeah.
his
want to
head.
make it like a cool
Yeah.
train track or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Wire
There
maybe.
you go. You can do something pretty cool with it. I'm sure it looks pretty rad. You've got some serious street cred from that. But damn, I cannot get over that.
Survived death, man. 25 feet. Jesus.
Damn.
Holy shit.
I do not like heights, so yeah, I can't even imagine. Yeah, it's
I
pretty-
mean,
Yeah, no,
what
no kidding.
what did your family? They were probably like, "Oh my god, no!"
yeah, it was. I mean, my family and my friends were amazing. Like I said, my sister was there the whole time, and then she took off work. She's an OR nurse actually, and
Mm.
was able to I was able to stay at her place for the next month after I got home before I could go back and live on my own. So that was great.
Jeez,
My
man.
friends, my friends were all there to support. A few of them came down, including Megan, who's on the line here, with her boyfriend, who's my friend, and also, a group of people started a GoFundMe to help pay for my sister, as lost in salary while she was taking off work to
Yeah.
support me,
Oh.
and all the
Awesome.
legal bills that are all the medical bills, obviously, that add up. So
And
we
she
got through
says
it.
on the I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Can you read what she says after he's done? Sorry.
Jeff's fall was so incredibly severe, his life was hanging in the balance on life support. For days, he lost his spleen, had 3 surgeries, went in acute respiratory distress. As I flew down, I didn't know if he was alive. Damn.
Jeez. You have some great family members, I can already tell.
I do. I had a huge amount of support. My parents didn't come down, but they're older. They don't fly too much, so
Yeah.
they were supporting me the whole time. And no, I really blessed that the support that I had. I don't know that I could have done it without them, but I also was when I came to and I figured out what was going on, which took me about a day or two. I was
Jesus
determined
Christ.
to get out of there and survive. So still here.
Jesus.
This
Okay.
story is intense, man.
So is there a lot of media attention around Lady Bird Lake right now?
It's all
What's-
suicides and drownings.
So for right now, like we're gonna be the ones pushing this one forward.
I mean, this isn't, no, I didn't find this case.
No, I know somebody requested it.
Yeah, it's, our friend Shram on here, she's also like our PR person. She found it on TikTok.
I think Martin also requested this story. He said,
Yeah, and because
"Gotta give Martin credit where credit is due."
people are thinking that there's a serial killer, and I knew that wasn't the case. I mean, number one, there's like all the bodies that were found, they're not they weren't sexually assaulted, because we've done cases like that
Right.
where and it's all guys. That's the first thing you would think of, and a lot of them, they weren't robbed, stuff like that. There was like no clear MO.
I do still think it's kind of a head scratcher to me that men are the ones being targeted. It's just due to like it's
Right,
not
yeah.
easy
Sure, you would think it would be potentially easier to
target a female, a young female at a
a
batch.
5 foot tall female rather than a 6'2",
Yeah.
So that is interesting. But
And-
I also think that this drug that's becoming more common now that's being used is so strong that it's not like they're dealing with me anymore. They're dealing with
Yeah.
like a zombie.
Yeah.
So
Jesus Christ, dude. A 6'3" zombie. Holy Jesus. It,
sounds dangerous.
I mean, yeah, it's like I still question like that seems difficult, but
they better be glad you didn't come too, man. You would have. Oof.
I know, right? They didn't give me any uppers. They're making sure that wasn't going to happen.
yeah, no shit.
And-
Jesus.
Megan says, and Amy is an absolute queen.
Is that your sister? Is Amy your sister?
Amy's my sister. Yeah.
There
that's
you
it.
go. We had to make sure we shout.
A lot of our supporters on live chat are probably thinking, is this guy single or?
Trying to like, who's up in Massachusetts still?
Jesus. Well, man.
Shram had said that a lot of us that are looking into these cases, there's an alarming amount of jokes and backlash towards them being male victims. That's interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, and there's a lot of what I've seen on there's some Facebook groups where people talk about it. That's actually how we connected here, John and I. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are saying, oh, it's some sort of closeted gay thing, and these guys are sneaking off. But I'm just like, I don't know how this even is. First of all, I'm completely heterosexual, so I know that wasn't the case here. But I also don't know how that's even. Why is that
Because-
even for this? Just because we're all guys?
Yeah, because but then you look at the autopsy report and there's no sexual trauma to anything,
Mm-hmm.
so that gets ruled out. But also the GHB. Well, we've done quite a few serial killers where that's the MO. They'll basically, Stephen Port, the guy in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
What's the guy in Canada? I can't remember his name. But yeah, they would exact same thing. This guy in Canada would GHB men, and this was at gay bars. That's why I had asked earlier.
That might be the time, is that it's happened previously.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
they see all men doing this, but this is something
Nothing
that
to do
we've
with
never
it.
seen before. It seems like it's not just one person, it's many people doing this. and they're all kind of in
And
it
it could
together.
be the multiple cities could just be different groups who figured out, hey,
Yeah.
we can use this drug and completely incapacitate people.
Yeah, because we did a story where, and this is happening a lot too. What do you like? Women of the night prostitutes and even strippers. They'll fentanyl their
Mhm.
clients, get them all screwed up, and then steal their money. And we did that one where she actually did it and killed 3 people, 3 Johns from doing that.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing, just using fentanyl instead of GHB, but. I mean, and also I got to mention real quick, I saw that one of the biggest GHB underground dealers was in Houston. It was masquerading as a fireworks operation, but they were distributing GHB and this new stuff called GDO or something. It's like stronger and it gets out of your system right there in Texas.
Right, which leads you to think, yeah, that maybe that's why the uptick, just because the drug is so much more available now.
Yeah.
Drugs like it.
So it's very brave what you're doing, man, because I'm telling you, a lot of guys wouldn't want to do this, but this is why you do it, because now people are going to come out and be like, you know what, this also happened to me.
Yeah.
You know, this happened to me.
Or I was robbed and don't remember what happened. You know, there's
Yeah.
like going to be some other version of the story.
More people definitely need to hear about this, 100%, because especially if you don't know, if you're a college kid and you haven't heard of this, dude, you're so vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I was saying to you earlier when we were talking, that I have a cousin who's going to school down there, and he's a tough 20-year-old guy, and he said he won't even go out alone at night because you never know what's going to happen. So I think
Wow.
it's weird because it's a very popular tourist destination.
Yeah.
Goes there because it's fun and a lot of bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, but then at the same time it has this weird dark side to it. So it's
Your sister had commented, interestingly, as I waited in the ICU for him to wake up, doctor after doctor and nurse after nurse told me, quote, men aren't safe in this city. They should never walk alone.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Men,
Wow,
you know,
yeah.
Jesus. It's because it's usually women. Like we do these stories.
It is
And
odd.
it's like everywhere, yeah.
But why would you? And why wouldn't it be men and women? Whoever is vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right. Like there is something going, they're noticing a pattern. I'm sure they see it all the time being in the hospital that
They see it. Yeah. They see the survivors and the non-survivors. So.
Jeez.
One thing I want to say or add, I stalked you on Facebook, obviously. I PM'd him, or was it DM or whatever, about the interview. But you had been asking,
Yeah.
you got on the Facebook group, the Lady Bird group, and you made a post, hey, is there anyone else? Basically, is there a support group? Did anyone reach back out to you?
I mean, a lot of people said, hey, so sorry for what you went through, you're a survivor, but I didn't get anyone except yourself. And I did get one other gentleman who said, please DM me. I lost my son in Austin last summer.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
Wow.
I haven't heard back from him. Actually, I did DM him. I said, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'd be, happy to talk to you anytime. But I looked through his Facebook page, and he did lose his son last summer, who was a 30-year-old male. So same place.
Found him terrible, man.
Yeah. So heavy stuff. And that's why, I would just hope that I can help someone's family not have to deal with waiting, multiple days and then finding out that their son's never coming home.
Yeah.
I know how hard it was on my family, and I'm still here. So I can't even imagine that happening just out of the blue like that to somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I really appreciate that you did decide to kind of come forward and reach out to folks and offer your help. I do think it will make a difference.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it can only help, at least somehow to get the information out there and start a dialogue. Maybe more people like you were saying, John, maybe there's more people who will say, hey, I showed up drunk in my bed, didn't know what happened, lost all my money. Just at least maybe start correlating some stories to find where the group is, who they might be, try to identify some people who are involved with it, and then take down the ring if there is the hypothetical crime ring out there. But I really think there must be something.
Absolutely. There is no question in my mind. You've got the proof from from your toxicology report.
Right,
Like,
right. I was obviously charged
100%.
with something. Right.
Jesus.
Wild stuff.
Jesus.
Wild stuff.
Jesus, man.
Damn. Oh my god. I cannot get over your story. So I'm so glad that you're here. Love the
Yeah.
Boston connection.
Yeah,
Always
absolutely.
always good to have another friend in the mix. And if you
That's
ever
what being
come to
down.
the Charleston area,
Yeah,
definitely
love to come down there. It's
come join us.
beautiful. I have like I said, I have some friends, a few family members down in the area. So yeah, we'll have to grab a drink sometime.
Yeah, you and your
Absolutely.
sister come down. That'd be fun, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be
I
fun.
would be, if we can get some more evidence or proof of things, we can have a follow up and try to dig deep.
I think that is a fantastic idea.
Dude, this was going to be all right. Not to bring anything up, but I was looking at this like the smiley face killers. You know that story,
We've
like
talked a little bit about
so. I
it.
was like, okay, well, this might be kind of wishy washy, but
No, this is
this is
legit.
This is legit, and it's something
ring.
that's so needs to be told.
Yeah.
100%. And like I said, we're both honored that you came on here, and
Wow.
I mean, you're very brave for doing so. So.
So I appreciate that. Yeah.
Any
Happy to
other-
have the ability to get the story out there. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that
Yeah.
a lot.
Anyone before we wrap up our interview, does anyone else on the live chat from our friends and fam have anything else they want to ask Jeff while we have him? It takes a lot to
Yeah.
talk about something so traumatic.
It does.
Andolin says, "Thank you."
Very good point,
Well,
Andolin.
No, thank you, Andolin. It like I said, it took me many months to be even able to think about it. I really just wanted to put the whole memory
Yeah.
out of my mind, which worked for a while. And I think it just kind of after it settled a little bit, I was able to say, okay, that happened. Wasn't my fault. First you feel very guilty, like, well, why did I put myself in that situation in the first place, and yada yada yada. I'm sure that's what a lot of guys also think.
Yeah.
But
100%. That is an excellent statement. You feel guilty. Oh, maybe this was my fault. It's kind of like we do terrible stories about rape, and a lot of times the victims they feel like it's their fault that did happened.
right,
Which is completely ass backwards.
It's obviously backwards, but you always second guess yourself and whatnot. So it did
Yeah.
take a while to come forward with the whole story. But yeah, like I said, I just hope it can maybe help find out what's going on and save some lives in the future.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. You are such a great dude. I could tell, man. And I'm telling you, if you
Right.
find yourself in Charleston, yeah.
Yeah.
You just
And,
gotta-
and obviously I'll let you know if I ever come back up to Massachusetts. But hey, it doesn't happen often.
Be around Boston too if you ever feel like coming north.
My brother is my hero.
Oh. You're like, I can't.
I'm tearing up a little bit, man.
Oh, stop. Yeah, he's a softie. He's a secret softie.
Well, thank you so much. Do you have anything else to add before we wrap this?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. Again, thanks for giving me the opportunity to say my piece here. This has been really cool.
Yeah, I will have to see if we know any other people in common. I'm sure given our ages, it sounds like we're probably close in age where maybe we
37.
know some people.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Jeff, so
Okay.
much.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You
Bye.
too.